Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙍𝙁𝙄𝙄𝙗. Today we are looking at a very interesting type of audio recorder, one that you or your actors wear, one that can never peak out or have too low a signal to bring back, one that you can synchronize to your camera through your phone, and actually one that may make the role of the sound recordist or sound op on set radically different, if not obsolete. We're talking about the Tentacle Synch Track-E audio recorder. So the story starts a couple of years ago. The Canon C200 was left off of the Netflix list of approved cameras because it lacks timecode in. I asked Canon about this, and the guy I spoke to said, well, you can get around that by timecode in audio. There is a device called the Tentacle Synch that generates or synchronizes your timecode with your audio recording box and then lays that in digitally on one or more of the audio tracks of your C200. So that means you can have timecode on cameras that don't normally have timecode. I used this a bunch. I used it on a ton of short films. I used it on my feature film. It works really, really flawlessly, and you're able to synchronize up your audio recording with your image recording. Now, Tentacle Synch have gone ahead and created a new version of the Tentacle Synch, but this one records audio. So rather than something that just outputs audio, this inputs audio and synchronizes the same timecode as you have on your Tentacle Synch device. So how this works is you have a Tentacle Synch device matched to your camera, so that's giving the camera a unified timecode. Then that Tentacle Synch is synced over Bluetooth with your phone with the Track-E recorder, which is either on the end of the boom pole with the mic and the sound operator, and or in the pocket of your actor wearing a mic like this one. Then at the end of the day, you download the audio from those two recorders that should have the same timecode as your camera, and you sync everything up in post. This eliminates a huge amount of problems because you no longer have to have a wire running from the end of your boom mic down the boom pole that causes noise. You no longer have to have a heavy recorder that the sound recordist is carrying around. You no longer have to have all the terrible problems that come with radio mics and all the interference that they get, especially places like New York and LA that have a very full radio band, and all the issues of them running out of batteries and falling off. The Track-E recorder is tiny. It's about a quarter the size of your standard Sennheiser mic pack. Because it doesn't need to transmit the audio signal, it's recording it internally. You might say, well, who's monitoring it? What if it gets too loud or too soft? That is part of the reason that this technology is now usable, is that it has 32-bit floating point audio. You can boost up the absolute zero signal into something usable, and you can bring down the loudest signal into something usable. This feels like black magic, but really how it works is that it uses just a decimal point. Instead of discrete values between 1 and 10,000, say, for your audio level, it uses those discrete values and then a decimal point and 10 decimal places of value. That means you can have a mouse squeak next to a jet engine without modifying the levels as you're recording it, and then modify the levels in post so that they're both normalized, that they both are audible to the ear and they're both usable for your film soundtrack. A big part of the reason that this system is so usable is the Bluetooth phone functionality. Right here I have my audio levels on my phone. I'm getting a live signal update so that the sound recordist or the director can see what the level is. They can even plug in earphones to see if there's any rubbing or distortion. They can see that they're synced up, and you can see in real time that your timecode is the same on the corner of my monitor as it is on my audio device. This is going to make it a lot easier for sound recordists on set to record sound. In fact, it's going to make it so easy for sound recordists on set to record sound that they may not need to be as qualified as they usually are. You could probably find someone with much less experience as a sound recordist to record sound for your film, or do it yourself and sort of shift that responsibility into post. The very common adage of we'll fix it in post usually turns out really, really poorly and very, very expensive. But in this case, for sound, you now can fix much, much more in post than you ever could. And if hiring a sound recordist or boom op on set is what's holding you back, a couple of these units may go a long way in letting you make your film. There is a heap more information on their website, but I think it's a brilliant system that is really, really usable for independent filmmakers. I used it on Devil's Fortune. Even when the actor was screaming his lungs out, we were able to bring the audio down and normalize it so that the very quiet line he said beforehand matched up perfectly with the screened line he said afterwards. They're both really well mixed now, and we could not have done it without this 32-bit technology. I'm excited to see how this works on the C70, which has no SDI out, but a SDI plug timecode in when I get that next week. Links to these guys are in the description, as well as a link to the previous review I did of the Tentacle Synch audio over timecode units. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.